Okay, Pat Crowley from Chapul, founder of Chapul, and my expertise in cricket bar manufacturing.
Life, cricket bars?
Life. Experiential education, for sure. So when it came to business, didn't have any experience, so just listened to free podcasts, took people out to lunch, did as much free education as possible, basically, yeah.
Cool.
I got a degree in hydrology to think about kind of big picture, our communities, our civilizations. What are we doing with our water? Where are we going to get it in the future? You know, where's our food going to come from in the future? Because if you look at it from that level, it's kind of scary, or it can be, and it's very evident that we need some big changes. So that's kind of the lens that I was looking through when, before I started Chapul. I dove into kind of the largest consumer of water, which is our food. Here in the West, 80% of our water goes to agriculture. And so I tried to figure out how we can use less water to produce the food that we're eating. And that's where I was kind of looking from when I listened to this TED Talk about insects. And it was this Dutch professor. He was like, we should be eating insects. Most of the world does. It's basically United States and Europe that don't. And Native Americans used to. And it's just cultural reasons why we don't. And so I crunched the numbers from a water perspective and decided that it's absolutely something that we should be incorporating into our food supply here, for the benefit of our children. And the only thing that is preventing it is cultural reasons, which AKA marketing. Once we made that realization, then it was like, okay, what product is going to be the best vehicle for introducing insects to our culture? And we decided that an energy bar would be the most familiar product, like very super high convenience. You hear about the concept, you can try it right there. And so we didn't have any experience with food or making food other than in our own homes. It was trial and error, bring a bunch of friends over for a party, do blind taste tests. Do you like this one better? A, B, or C? And
so market research for you guys from the start was what?
Just picking up the phone, like talking to people.
What was kind of their reaction at first? Was it like, were they hesitant to try a cricket bar?
It was definitely influenced by us as people. We knew that it was a biased sample because people were excited about us. And so we tried to eliminate that as much as possible. And when we did, then there was a lot more hesitation. Like, what is this? This is crazy. Like, we did a really specific focus group on like people that love Chapul and why do they love Chapul? What is it exactly? And one thing we found is people that buy our bars regularly, it was kind of split between three reasons why they're repeat purchases. It's either the taste, and we have these really unique gourmet flavors that you can't find in other energy bars. The second reason was the nutritional aspect. So, the crickets are a complete protein, don't have some of the issues of like phytoestrogen that soy protein and other proteins on the shelf do. And then the macros just fit their diet. And then the third reason was the environmental ethic. They really are getting on board with trying to promote more sustainable foods. And so it's kind of split pretty evenly amongst those three of people that buy our bars 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But almost all of them initially bought it for just curiosity.
Having that knowledge that you guys got from market research, how does that now affect, going forward with your business?
Yeah, so it's interesting because when we launched it, there was no market research about insect protein. So that's developed over the 4 years we've been in existence as a business. And so now we can take that 4 years of history and all that market research that we've basically created and develop our next line of products that address that market that now exists, having started this 4 years ago. And so now we're going to tweak our product to address kind of the concerns about that initial purchase, as well as like boost each one of those three categories of why people are buying it. Some of the most beneficial was going to events and getting people to sample our product and getting the feedback just one-on-one from consumers. Kind of one of the biggest lessons that we learned is like how to prioritize our marketing messages, even though like what's important to us is not what's important to our consumer, which is the only thing that matters.
Right. A lot of people are MBAs trying to come up with a business. Instead, you guys were just like regular people that had this awesome idea. So where do you go to find your information on that stuff?
Yeah, so I had a job at the time and I would take the bus to work. It was like 45-minute bus ride, and so it was perfect for a lecture from like Harvard Business School podcasts or like Oxford School of Entrepreneurship. And I would just listen to a lesson on the way to work and listen to a lesson on the way back to work. And sometimes I would listen to a lesson, get an hour early and go to the public library and get a book on accounting and just like skim through and like learn as much as I could from free resources available. Also, there's like SCORE International, there's Small Business Development Center everywhere in the country. Like there's free resources in your community on like direct one-on-one consultation with a business advisor. You know, they'll sit down with you, you'll throw your idea and they'll say, well, think about this, 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 and this. And you're like, oh, wow, that's really phenomenal feedback. I'll go back and do my research and come back in like 2 weeks and talk about the next stage. And so, yeah, free resources in your community, online, your library, just did all of that. And then again, just talking to people that have walked down that path before of entrepreneurship. Your local university is a great resource because find an MBA program, they're craving to do like semester-long market research projects, and it's much more valuable to them if they're doing something actual viable that will be utilized. They're going to be more into it than just doing some fictional market research project. So we've had like phenomenal data come from like BYU MBA program, LMU out of LA, like University of Utah. And so there's student groups that just want to do like real projects. And so just be a real project for them to do. So when we started, it was definitely a niche product, and we were focused on the label readers, as we call them, like natural food, like very focused on the nutritional panel, like their diet, like the types of protein. And we're trying to branch more into mainstream. So less of those label readers, more of just your average food consumer. What do they think about insects? Maybe they're not looking at the nutritional breakdown as much. And what are the things most important to your average consumer at this point? In hindsight, I would focus way more energy on market research because everything about your business, everything about your product is all about that end user. Like the more you know them, the better. And everything should be focused and designed around that person, around those people, that community.
Are your crickets free range?
They're not free range, but our living conditions mimic their natural environment.
They have Netflix accounts and things
totally.
like that. It's very cush.
They like dark, cozy places, like under rocks and things like that.
Okay.
So that's what we provide to them.